Why keys and locks represent prosperity portals. Every key and lock in your life is more than metal. It is a spiritual symbol of doors opening or closing to prosperity, a sacred instrument that determines whether abundance flows freely into your experience or remains locked away behind barriers of limitation. You have observed that some people keep keys that lead to blessings, carrying themselves with confidence that doors will open wherever they go, while others live with locks that block opportunities, feeling perpetually shut out from the wealth and success they desire. In feng shui and ancient wisdom traditions, keys and locks are sacred guardians of fortune, mystical tools that govern access to treasures both material and spiritual. These simple metal objects hold profound power over your relationship with abundance, serving as physical manifestations of your ability to open new possibilities or your tendency to close yourself off from prosperity's gifts. I want to be transparent from the beginning. Everything I will share today is based on spiritual beliefs and traditions that have recognized the symbolic power of keys and locks throughout human history, not on confirmed science. However, countless individuals have discovered that consciously working with key and lock symbolism creates tangible shifts in their financial circumstances and opportunities for abundance. Throughout the tapestry of human spiritual expression, keys have emerged as universal symbols of access to hidden treasures, secret wisdom, and realms of prosperity that remain invisible to ordinary perception. Ancient Egyptian priests carried ceremonial keys that were believed to unlock not only temple doors, but gateways to divine abundance and celestial wealth. In Christian tradition, Saint Peter holds the keys to heaven, representing ultimate access to spiritual riches and eternal blessing. Celtic mythology speaks of magical keys that open doors between worlds, granting access to fairy treasures and otherworldly abundance that can transform mortal fortunes overnight. Hindu traditions recognize keys as symbols of spiritual authority and material mastery, with certain deities depicted holding keys that unlock cosmic treasures and universal prosperity. Chinese feng shui masters understand that the placement and energy of keys and locks in living spaces directly influences the flow of wealth and opportunity through those environments. Today I will reveal why keys and locks are prosperity portals and how to align their energy with your financial goals, exploring how these humble metal objects can become powerful allies in your journey toward abundance or unconscious obstacles that keep wealth perpetually out of reach. Before we unlock the mysteries of prosperity symbolism hidden in your everyday keys and locks, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. This small act aligns your energy with the current of prosperity. When you engage with spiritual knowledge about abundance, you are essentially using a metaphysical key to unlock greater access to wisdom that can transform your financial reality. Your participation creates energetic momentum that helps unlock this knowledge for others who need to understand the hidden language of prosperity. Keys as symbols of access and opportunity. Picture holding a key in your palm, feeling its weight and texture, understanding that this small piece of shaped metal represents one of humanity's most potent symbols of possibility and potential. In the spiritual realm, every key you possess serves as a tangible reminder that you have access to rooms, spaces, and opportunities that remain closed to others, making you a keeper of portals to prosperity. Spiritually, keys embody the principle of selective access, the divine understanding that abundance flows to those who have earned the right to enter sacred spaces of wealth creation. When you carry keys, you are announcing to the universe that you are trusted with responsibility and deserving of entry into realms where prosperity dwells. Each key becomes a physical affirmation of your worthiness to receive abundance. The symbolism of keys connects with ancient mysteries, where initiation into higher levels of spiritual and material wealth required proving worthiness to receive sacred keys. In medieval guilds, master craftsmen were given ceremonial keys that represented not only access to workshops, but authorization to create wealth through their skills. These keys were passed down through generations as symbols of inherited prosperity rights. Folk wisdom from many cultures recognizes keys as talismans of good fortune and opportunity. Irish tradition tells of finding old keys, bringing luck and new possibilities to the finder. Italian grandmothers would give small keys to grandchildren as protective charms that would ensure doors of opportunity would always open for them throughout their lives. To work consciously with key energy for prosperity, carry your keys with reverence and intention, rather than treating them as mere functional objects. Choose key rings that feel beautiful and meaningful to you, understanding that these small details influence your subconscious relationship with access and opportunity. Hold your keys periodically throughout the day and remind yourself that you possess instruments of access to abundance. Consider the keys you carry and what spaces they grant you entry to. House keys represent access to your sanctuary and foundation of prosperity. Car keys represent mobility and freedom to pursue opportunities. Office keys represent professional authority and income potential. Each key in your possession symbolizes a different pathway to abundance that is uniquely yours. Create rituals around receiving new keys, treating each addition as a spiritual initiation into expanded prosperity access. When you receive keys to a new home, car, or office, take time to acknowledge the significance of this expanded access and set clear intentions for how you will use these new portals to create greater abundance. Consider upgrading your most important keys to beautiful, high-quality versions that feel worthy of the abundance they represent. Gold-plated house keys or elegant car keys send signals to both your subconscious mind and the universe that you value access to prosperity and expect your portals to abundance to be worthy of beauty and quality. Keys, as symbols of access, teach us that prosperity is not randomly distributed, but flows to those who have prepared themselves to receive it and proven themselves worthy of entry into spaces where abundance is created and maintained. When you look at the keys in your possession, do they inspire confidence that doors of opportunity will open for you, or do they feel like burden reminders of responsibilities without corresponding rewards for your access? Locks as protectors of wealth. Envision the satisfying click of a quality lock securing something precious, understanding that this sound represents one of humanity's most fundamental acts of wealth preservation and energy protection. In the spiritual dimension, locks serve not only as physical barriers, but as energetic shields that preserve your accumulated prosperity while filtering access to ensure only beneficial influences can reach your treasures. Spiritually, locks embody the wisdom of discernment, the understanding that true prosperity requires both the ability to attract abundance and the wisdom to protect it from forces that would diminish or destroy it. Quality locks on your home, office, and storage spaces demonstrate to the universe that you value what you have created and are prepared to be a responsible steward of greater wealth. The symbolism of protective locks connects with ancient temple practices where sacred treasures were secured behind multiple barriers, not because the gods were miserly, but because certain energies and objects required protection from profane influences that could corrupt their beneficial power. Your locks serve similar protective functions for your material and energetic prosperity. Traditional Chinese culture places enormous importance on the quality and placement of locks, understanding that these devices influence the security of family wealth for generations. Feng Shui masters recommend specific types of locks for different purposes, with some designs believed to enhance protection, while others might inadvertently block beneficial energy along with harmful influences. To work with lock energy for prosperity protection, invest in high-quality security devices that feel substantial and trustworthy rather than cheap options that create subconscious anxiety about vulnerability. The locks that protect your prosperity should inspire confidence and peace of mind, not constant worry about their effectiveness. Choose locks with care, considering not only their practical security features, but their energetic qualities. Some practitioners prefer locks with golden or brass finishes that resonate with wealth energy, while others choose silver tones that reflect protective lunar energy. The appearance and feel of your locks should align with your personal prosperity aesthetic. Create blessing rituals for new locks, treating their installation as sacred acts of prosperity protection. Before installing a new lock, hold it in your hands and set clear intentions about what you want it to protect and what energies you want it to allow through. This conscious programming enhances the lock's effectiveness on both practical and spiritual levels. Maintain your locks with care, keeping them clean, lubricated, and functioning smoothly. A lock that sticks or operates roughly creates subconscious stress about security and can symbolically represent obstacles in your prosperity flow. Well-maintained locks that operate smoothly reinforce confidence in your ability to protect and maintain abundance. Consider the psychology of your lock choices, understanding that overly aggressive or fortress-like security can create energy of fearfulness and scarcity that actually repels prosperity. The goal is confident protection that maintains openness to beneficial opportunities while screening out harmful influences. Protective locks teach us that wise prosperity management requires both openness to receive abundance and discernment to protect what has been accumulated, creating secure foundations from which greater wealth can be built. How do the locks in your life make you feel about security and prosperity? And do they inspire confidence in your ability to protect and grow wealth? Or do they create anxiety that might be interfering with abundant thinking? The meaning of carrying keys in different traditions. The act of carrying keys transforms you into a keeper of portals, a spiritual guardian who holds physical instruments of access that connect earthly spaces with cosmic possibilities for abundance and blessing. Different cultural traditions have recognized the profound significance of who carries keys and how they are carried, understanding that these practices influence the flow of prosperity through communities and families. Spiritually, carrying keys designates you as someone trusted with responsibility and authorized to access sacred spaces where wealth and opportunity reside. In many traditions, the right to carry certain keys was earned through demonstration of wisdom, integrity, and capability, making key-bearing a mark of honor that attracted corresponding prosperity and respect. The symbolism of key carrying varies dramatically across cultures, each tradition recognizing different aspects of the spiritual power contained in these instruments of access. In some Native American traditions, ceremonial keys were carried only by tribal leaders who had proven their ability to unlock prosperity for their entire community, not merely for personal gain. Japanese culture developed intricate customs around key carrying, with specific ways of handling and presenting keys that demonstrated respect for the spaces and opportunities they represented. Proper key etiquette was believed to influence the luck and prosperity that would flow to the key bearer and everyone associated with them. To work consciously with the tradition of key carrying, develop personal ceremonies around how you handle and carry your keys. Rather than mindlessly shoving them into pockets or bags, create conscious practices that honor their symbolic significance and reinforce your identity as someone worthy of access to prosperity. Choose methods of carrying keys that feel dignified and intentional. Beautiful key cases, elegant chains, or meaningful key rings transform functional necessity into spiritual practice. The way you carry your keys should reflect the respect you have for the opportunities and responsibilities they represent. Consider which keys you carry with you at all times versus those you store in specific locations. Keys that remain constantly with you should represent your most essential access needs, while keys for special or occasional access can be stored ceremonially in meaningful locations. Create personal traditions around key presentation when opening doors for others or sharing access to spaces under your authority. The grace and confidence with which you use keys influences how others perceive your relationship with authority and abundance, potentially opening additional opportunities through positive impression. Develop awareness of how carrying keys affects your posture, confidence, and presence. People who consciously embrace their role as key bearers often carry themselves differently, projecting authority and capability that attracts opportunities for increased responsibility and corresponding prosperity. The tradition of conscious key carrying reminds us that we are all guardians of access to different forms of abundance, and how we handle these responsibilities influences the prosperity that flows through our lives and communities. What does it feel like to carry keys that represent significant access and responsibility, and how might embracing your role as guardian of prosperity portals enhance your confidence and opportunities? The role of locks on doors, safes, and gates in prosperity. The strategic placement of locks throughout your environment creates a complex web of energy management that either supports or undermines your prosperity consciousness, with each locked barrier serving as both practical security and symbolic statement about your relationship with abundance, access, and protection of wealth. Spiritually, the locks on your doors represent your boundaries with the outside world and your ability to control what influences enter your prosperity environment. Front door locks that feel secure and operate smoothly create confidence that allows you to focus on wealth creation without constant anxiety about external threats. Bedroom door locks provide intimate sanctuary where prosperity dreams can be nurtured without interference. The symbolism of locks on different types of barriers carries distinct meanings in prosperity consciousness. Gate locks represent control over who has access to your property and opportunities, while safe locks symbolize your most concentrated wealth protection efforts. Office door locks represent professional boundary management and authority over your work environment. Traditional feng shui recognizes that the placement and quality of locks influences the flow of beneficial energy through living and working spaces. Locks that are too prominent or aggressive can block positive opportunities along with negative influences, while inadequate security creates subconscious stress that interferes with clear thinking about financial matters. To optimize lock placement for prosperity, ensure that your most important barriers have locks that feel proportionate to their significance without creating fortress mentality that blocks beneficial connections and opportunities. Your home's front door deserves a substantial, beautiful lock that inspires confidence, while interior doors might need lighter security that maintains energy flow. Consider the visual impact of your locks, choosing designs that align with your prosperity aesthetic, rather than creating jarring contrasts with your environment. Locks that feel integrated and beautiful reinforce positive associations with security and protection, while ugly or inappropriate locks create subtle stress every time you see them. Pay attention to the sounds your locks make when engaging or disengaging, understanding that these audio signatures influence your subconscious relationship with security and access. Locks that operate with satisfying, substantial sounds reinforce confidence, while squeaky or rough operating locks create subtle anxiety. Create hierarchies of lock security that reflect the actual value of what you are protecting, avoiding both underprotection of valuable assets and overprotection of items with minimal worth. This balanced approach demonstrates practical wisdom that attracts opportunities for managing greater wealth responsibly. Regularly assess whether your lock placement still serves your current prosperity goals or reflects outdated fears and limitations. As your wealth and confidence grow, you may need to adjust security measures to match your evolved relationship with abundance and risk management. Strategic lock placement teaches us that prosperity requires both openness to opportunity and wisdom about protection, creating secure foundations that support confident wealth-building activities while maintaining appropriate boundaries. Looking at the locks throughout your environment, do they create feelings of secure confidence that support prosperity thinking, or do they generate anxiety and fortress mentality that might be blocking beneficial opportunities and connections? Keys as symbols of responsibility and destiny. When someone entrusts you with keys, they are performing a sacred act of confidence that transcends mere practical convenience, recognizing you as someone capable of handling responsibility and worthy of access to spaces, resources, or opportunities that could significantly impact your life path and prosperity potential. Spiritually, receiving keys represents initiation into new levels of accountability and opportunity, where your actions with access directly influence your spiritual and material development. The universe often uses key giving as a method of testing and expanding your capacity for greater responsibility, preparing you for higher levels of abundance that require demonstrated trustworthiness. The symbolism of keys as destiny markers appears throughout mythology and spiritual literature, where heroes receive magical keys that unlock their true potential or grant access to realms where their ultimate purpose can be fulfilled. Your everyday keys may seem mundane, but they represent similar opportunities for growth and manifestation of your highest potential. Ancient traditions recognized key-giving ceremonies as pivotal moments in personal development, often marking transitions from one life stage to another. Coming-of-age rituals frequently included receiving keys to family homes, symbolizing acceptance into adult responsibility and access to family prosperity traditions and wisdom. To work consciously with keys as responsibility symbols, treat every key you receive as a sacred trust that carries opportunities for personal and financial growth. Before accepting significant keys, pause to consider what responsibilities you are accepting and how successfully managing those responsibilities might open doors to greater opportunities. Create personal ceremonies around receiving important keys, treating these moments as initiations into expanded life possibilities rather than simple practical exchanges. When you receive house keys, car keys, or office keys, acknowledge the trust being placed in you and commit to using that access wisely and prosperously. Consider what keys you might be ready to receive that would expand your access to prosperity opportunities. Sometimes we unconsciously refuse or avoid situations that would give us greater access because we doubt our ability to handle the corresponding responsibilities. Identifying these patterns can reveal prosperity blocks. Reflect on keys you have been given in the past and how successfully you managed the responsibilities they represented. Past key relationships provide insights into your current readiness for greater access and responsibility, helping you understand what growth might be necessary to handle expanded opportunities. Evaluate whether you are honoring the trust represented by keys you currently hold, ensuring that your use of access demonstrates the wisdom and integrity that would justify receiving even greater opportunities and responsibilities in the future. Keys as symbols of responsibility remind us that prosperity flows to those who prove themselves worthy stewards of access and opportunity, and that each level of abundance achieved prepares us for even greater levels of wealth and influence. What keys in your life represent significant trust and responsibility, and how might honoring those trusts more fully open pathways to greater opportunities and prosperity access? Keys passed down or inherited. Ancestral keys carry within their metal the accumulated energy of generations who used them to access spaces where family prosperity was built, protected, and passed forward, making these inherited instruments of access powerful connectors to family wealth lineages and generational abundance patterns. Spiritually, inherited keys function as physical links to your prosperity ancestry, carrying forward not only access to specific spaces, but connection to the wealth consciousness and financial wisdom of those who came before you. An inherited house key connects you to the family history of that home, including all the prosperity energy that was generated within those walls. The symbolism of passed-down keys relates to inheritance of more than material assets, representing transmission of family prosperity traditions, business wisdom, and wealth-building capabilities that can be activated through conscious connection with these ancestral instruments of access. Traditional cultures developed elaborate ceremonies around passing keys from one generation to the next, understanding that these transitions represented transfer of not only access, but authority, responsibility, and accumulated family blessing. The way keys were passed influenced whether prosperity traditions continued or were broken between generations. To work consciously with inherited keys, research the history of the spaces and opportunities they represent, understanding what prosperity was built using these access points and how you can honor that legacy while creating new abundance. Sometimes inherited keys open doors to family business opportunities or property investments that remain available. Create blessing rituals for inherited keys that honor previous owners while programming them for your own prosperity goals. Speak to the keys about your gratitude for the family prosperity they represent and your intention to use your access to create even greater abundance for future generations. Consider the condition and appearance of inherited keys, understanding that their maintenance reflects your respect for family prosperity traditions. Keys that are allowed to rust or deteriorate symbolically represent neglect of family wealth wisdom, while keys that are cleaned and cared for honor ancestral abundance guidance. If inherited keys feel heavy or somehow problematic despite their sentimental value, explore whether family prosperity patterns connected to these keys might need conscious transformation. Sometimes inherited access comes with inherited limitations that require healing before the keys can support your individual abundance goals. Use inherited keys as meditation objects for connecting with family prosperity wisdom, holding them while asking for guidance about current financial decisions or opportunities. The accumulated experience of previous key holders can provide insights that support your own wealth-building efforts. Inherited keys teach us that we are part of prosperity lineages that extend beyond our individual lives, and that honoring ancestral wisdom while adding our own abundance contributions creates stronger foundations for family wealth than either blind tradition or complete abandonment of the past. What inherited keys or access do you have in your life, and how might consciously honoring the prosperity legacy they represent while adding your own abundance contribution strengthen your financial foundation? Unlocking rituals, opening new cycles in life. The ceremonial act of unlocking doors, gates, safes, or symbolic barriers can become a powerful spiritual practice for initiating new cycles of prosperity, transforming routine access into sacred moments of intention setting that align your consciousness with expanded abundance and fresh opportunities for wealth creation. Spiritually, unlocking rituals serve as physical prayers for opening, where the mechanical action of key turning becomes a metaphysical request for barriers to abundance to dissolve and pathways to prosperity to become clear and accessible. Each unlock becomes an opportunity to reset your relationship with access and opportunity. The symbolism of conscious unlocking connects with ancient initiation ceremonies where candidates were required to open sacred doors or containers to demonstrate their readiness for higher levels of spiritual and material blessing. Your daily unlocking activities can carry similar transformative power when performed with awareness and intention. Mystery schools throughout history used actual and symbolic keys in ceremonies, marking transition from one level of understanding to another, recognizing that the act of unlocking represents willingness to enter unknown territories where greater wisdom and prosperity might be discovered. To create prosperity unlocking rituals, approach significant doors with conscious intention rather than mindless routine. Before unlocking your home after work, pause to set intentions for how you want the evening to support your abundance goals. Before unlocking your office in the morning, establish clear intentions for prosperity-creating activities you plan to accomplish. Use special occasions to create more elaborate unlocking ceremonies that mark important transitions in your prosperity journey. Unlocking a new home, office, or business location deserves ritual recognition of the expanded access and opportunity these spaces represent for your wealth-building activities. Consider creating weekly or monthly unlocking rituals that symbolically open fresh cycles of abundance in your life. Choose a meaningful lock and key combination and use the unlocking action as meditation on releasing whatever limitations might be preventing greater prosperity from manifesting. Develop personal symbolism around different types of unlocking, understanding that opening your home represents accessing your foundation and security, unlocking your car represents mobility and freedom to pursue opportunities, and opening your office represents professional empowerment and income potential. Create unlocking affirmations that you speak while turning keys, programming these routine actions with conscious prosperity intentions. Simple statements like, "I am opening doors to abundance," or "new opportunities flow freely to me," transform mechanical actions into spiritual practices. Consider the timing of your unlocking rituals, understanding that certain times of day or lunar cycles might be more powerful for opening new abundance cycles. Dawn unlocking ceremonies connect with fresh daily potential, while full moon unlocking rituals can release accumulated limitations. Unlocking rituals teach us that we can transform routine access activities into powerful spiritual practices that continuously reinforce our openness to receiving greater abundance and our readiness to enter expanded prosperity territories. How might approaching the locks and keys in your daily life with more conscious intention transform these routine actions into ongoing prosperity practices that continuously open new abundance possibilities? When to change locks and renew energy? The decision to change locks represents more than security updates, serving as powerful opportunity for energetic renewal that can refresh your relationship with protection, access, and prosperity by clearing accumulated energy patterns and establishing fresh boundaries that support your current abundance goals rather than perpetuating outdated limitations. Spiritually, changing locks creates energetic reset that clears whatever prosperity blocks or limitations might have accumulated around your security systems, while installing new access points that are programmed with your current abundance intentions, rather than carrying forward old patterns that no longer serve your wealth-building objectives. The symbolism of lock renewal connects with spiritual traditions of periodic purification and energy clearing, understanding that protective systems can accumulate stagnant or negative energy over time that interferes with their ability to support prosperity flow while maintaining appropriate security boundaries. Traditional feng shui recommends changing locks periodically to refresh protective energy and ensure that security systems continue supporting rather than hindering beneficial opportunity flow. Old locks can develop energy patterns that are overly restrictive, blocking positive influences along with negative ones. To know when lock changing is appropriate for prosperity reasons, pay attention to how your current locks make you feel when you use them. Locks that consistently stick, feel rough, or create anxiety might be ready for renewal. Also consider changing locks after significant life transitions like new relationships, career changes, or prosperity breakthroughs. Create ceremonial approaches to lock changing that honor both the service of old locks and the potential of new ones. Thank departing locks for their protection while setting clear intentions for how new locks will support your expanded prosperity goals and security needs. Choose replacement locks that align with your current prosperity aesthetic and security requirements, rather than simply replacing old models with identical versions. This is an opportunity to upgrade your protection systems to match your evolved relationship with abundance and wealth management. Use lock changing as opportunity to reassess your overall security philosophy, ensuring that your approach to protection supports rather than undermines your prosperity consciousness. Sometimes security systems that felt appropriate for earlier life stages become limiting when abundance capacity expands. Program new locks with prosperity intentions during installation, treating them as fresh, protective allies in your wealth-building journey rather than mere mechanical devices. This conscious programming enhances their effectiveness on both practical and spiritual levels. Consider changing locks seasonally or annually as part of broader prosperity renewal practices, understanding that periodic refreshing of protective energy supports continued abundance flow and prevents security systems from becoming stagnant prosperity obstacles. The practice of conscious lock renewal teaches us that effective prosperity protection requires periodic updating to match our evolving relationship with abundance, security, and access to opportunity. What locks in your life might be ready for energetic renewal, and how could approaching lock, changing a spiritual practice, create fresh prosperity energy while maintaining appropriate protection for your abundance? We have journeyed together through the fascinating realm where everyday objects reveal profound spiritual truths about prosperity, discovering how the humble keys and locks in our lives serve as far more than practical tools, but as sacred symbols and energetic instruments that shape our relationship with abundance, access, and opportunity. Let us gather the treasures of understanding we have unlocked. Keys serve as symbols of access and opportunity, reminding us that we possess instruments that can open doors to prosperity when we recognize our worthiness to enter spaces where abundance dwells. Locks function as protectors of wealth, creating secure foundations that allow us to build prosperity with confidence, while maintaining wise boundaries against influences that would diminish our accumulated abundance. We have explored how different traditions recognize the spiritual significance of carrying keys, understanding that key bearers hold responsibility for access that extends beyond personal benefit to community prosperity. The strategic placement of locks throughout our environment creates energy management systems that either support or undermine our prosperity consciousness through their influence on security, confidence, and opportunity flow. Keys represent symbols of responsibility and destiny, with each key received marking initiation into expanded accountability and potential for growth. Inherited keys connect us to family prosperity lineages, while carrying both ancestral wisdom and generational patterns that may require conscious transformation. The practice of unlocking rituals transforms routine access into spiritual ceremonies that continuously open fresh cycles of abundance, while the wisdom of changing locks periodically allows us to renew protective energy and align security systems with evolved prosperity consciousness. Through it all, we have discovered that keys and locks are prosperity portals that either grant or block access to abundance based on our consciousness, intention, and relationship with the responsibility and opportunity they represent. Now I ask you to reflect honestly on your personal relationship with these instruments of access and protection. What keys in your life feel like portals to abundance, opening easily when you approach them with confidence and clear intention? Which locks provide security that supports prosperity thinking, rather than creating fortress mentality that blocks beneficial opportunities? Consider the keys you carry daily and what they represent about your access to prosperity. Do they inspire confidence in your ability to enter spaces where abundance is created, or do they feel like burdens of responsibility without corresponding rewards and opportunities? Remember always that every key and lock is part of your spiritual connection with prosperity, serving as physical manifestations of your beliefs about access, worthiness, protection, and opportunity. These simple metal objects carry profound power to either accelerate your journey toward financial freedom or create subtle obstacles that keep wealth perpetually out of reach. The choice lies in your hands to transform every key into an instrument of access to abundance and every lock into a wise protector that maintains security while supporting continued prosperity flow. When you recognize the sacred nature of these everyday objects, You unlock awareness that prosperity is not distant treasure, but accessible abundance that awaits your conscious key. May this understanding awaken within you profound appreciation for the prosperity portals that surround you daily, and may you use this awareness to approach keys and locks with the reverence and intention they deserve as spiritual instruments of your abundance journey. May every key you hold become a master key to unlimited prosperity, and may every lock you encounter recognize you as someone authorized to access the highest levels of abundance and opportunity that existence has to offer. Your engagement with this exploration of prosperity symbolism in everyday objects fills my heart with deep gratitude, and I would be honored to learn how these insights resonate with your personal experience of access, opportunity, and abundance. In the comments below, please share a positive affirmation that has emerged from this journey through the spiritual dimensions of keys and locks. You might write, "I hold the keys to prosperity in my life. Every door opens to abundance when I approach with confidence," or create your own unique declaration of access to unlimited opportunity. Your affirmation becomes more than words, but transforms into a spiritual key that unlocks greater prosperity consciousness within the collective field of abundance. Each positive statement you share creates ripples of opening energy that influence not only your own relationship with access and opportunity, but touches the lives of everyone who reads your words, multiplying the unlocking power of this ancient wisdom. If this exploration of keys and locks as prosperity portals has sparked recognition in your soul, if you have felt truth resonating as we uncovered these connections between everyday objects and abundance, I lovingly invite you to share this video with someone who might benefit from understanding how simple metal instruments can become powerful allies in their prosperity journey. Every time you share authentic spiritual knowledge, you become a key holder who opens doors of awareness for others who are seeking practical ways to unlock their financial potential. The universe always recognizes this generous service by granting you access to even greater prosperity opportunities and expanded abundance territories. May every lock you open lead to fortune, and every key you hold open doors of abundance beyond your current imagination. May your relationship with keys and locks become conscious partnership with prosperity forces that ensures doors of opportunity swing wide whenever you approach them with clear intention and confident expectation. May the keys in your possession multiply your access to unlimited abundance, and may the locks under your authority protect and preserve your accumulated wealth while maintaining perfect openness to beneficial influences that support your continued prosperity growth. The eternal blessing of unlimited access to abundance, divinely protected prosperity, and keys that open every door your heart desires be with you always, unlocking new levels of wealth and opportunity with every step of your spiritual and financial journey.